current news podcast.
With Elu and Jesse.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Ready to talk Ghost of Yōtei.
Always ready to talk samurai, ghosts, the works.
Well, we've got a lot to dig into today. The hype for this game is unreal. I mean, even before we really knew anything concrete.
Right, we're working off rumors, a couple of cryptic trailers, but that hasn't stopped the speculation.
Exactly. So that's what we're diving into today. What do we actually know about Ghost of Yōtei? And more importantly, is it living up to the hype so far?
And just as important, what are people getting right? What are they getting wrong? And what are we just going to have to wait to find out?
Love it. Okay, so first things first, let's address the elephant in the room. No more Jinsakai. 300 years later, brand new protagonist. Bold move, right?
Absolutely. This isn't just a sequel. It's almost like a whole new beast.
Right. Like, I love Ghost of Tsushima. Who doesn't? But, well, we've seen what happens with some sequels.
Oh, trust me, I know. But here's the thing. 1603 Japan, Tokugawa shogunate, just taking power. That's a recipe for chaos.
Right. Shifting allegiances, power struggles, all that good stuff.
Exactly. The perfect setting for a story about honor, betrayal, classic samurai drama.
And maybe a little ghost busting on the side.
Got to have those supernatural elements, right?
Absolutely. Speaking of shaking things up, let's talk about Atsu, our new protagonist. A woman warrior, which in samurai fiction, not exactly common.
No, not at all. But historically speaking, there were women samurai. Anu geisha, they were called sometimes.
I have no idea.
Yeah. They were definitely the exception, not the rule. But these women were fierce warriors, went against all these societal expectations. I mean, imagine wielding a katana when everyone tells you you're supposed to be meek and mild.
It makes you wonder if that's something Sucker Punch will explore with Atsu's character, this idea of defiance.
I'd say it's a pretty safe bet. Especially considering how Ghost of Tsushima dealt with themes of honor and duty, but also bucking tradition when the situation calls for it.
Totally. And speaking of bucking tradition, the combat in Ghost of Tsushima was phenomenal. Fast, fluid, brutal. But they're adding some new elements with Atsu, right?
From what we've seen, yeah. Dual-wielding swords, for one, which is a big deal. Fans have been asking for that since the first game.
Oh, man. Dual-wielding katanas, that's gotta be a visual spectacle.
Right. Imagine the combos Atsu could pull off. The speed and agility, dancing through combat with those blades. I'm getting hyped just thinking about it.
Me too. But hold on, I saw something about GUNS being added too, which, okay, I get it, historically accurate, but in Ghost of Tsushima.
I know, right? It seems a bit out of place at first. But remember those tense standoffs with the Mongol archers?
Oh, yeah. Edge of your seat stuff.
Now picture that same tension, but with muskets and early rifles.
Whoa. That changes things.
Totally. Suddenly you've got range to factor in, different tactics, maybe even some stealth elements.
Stealth and GUNS. In feudal Japan, I don't know about those.
Trust me, it's going to be epic. And historically, firearms were starting to appear in Japan around this period.
So it's not just a random addition, they've actually done their research.
Exactly. Sucker Punch is known for their attention to detail, so you know they're going to make it work.
And that has me thinking about those stealth sections in Ghost of Tsushima. Using the grappling hook, slinking through the shadows.
So some of the most satisfying gameplay.
Totally. But how do guns change that? Can you even have VE stealth with guns?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? I mean, a sword is pretty quiet, relatively speaking. A gunshot, not so much.
Yeah, so does that mean Atsu is going to be forced into these big, loud, action-packed encounters?
Not necessarily. Think about it. This is where those strategic choices come in. Does Atsu embrace the guns, use them sparingly, strategically? Or does she try to stick to the shadows, rely on her swordsmanship?
Oh, I see what you're saying. It becomes a part of her character. Is she a warrior who adapts to new tools, or does she cling to tradition?
Exactly. It adds a whole other layer to her journey. And speaking of unexpected tools, did we see a wolf in that trailer, or am I going crazy?
You're not crazy. I saw it too. Giant wolf, just kind of hanging out with Atsu.
Which, again, huge question mark. Enemy. Ally. Is this a Princess Mononoke situation?
Dude, don't even get me started on Princess Mononoke. We'll be here all day.
Fair enough. But you see what I mean? The possibilities are insane.
No, totally. I mean, imagine you're exploring this harsh, unforgiving landscape, snow up to your knees.
Which, by the way, Izo in winter, brutal.
No kidding. Okay, so you're trudging through the snow, and suddenly you've got this wolf at your side.
And it's not just a cosmetic thing, right? Like, does it help you hunt? Warn you about enemies? Does it fight alongside you?
Man, can you imagine? Like a more agile, furry version of those bear allies you can get in Ghost of Tsushima.
Right. Or maybe it's more about companionship.
Yeah.
This lone warrior surviving in the wilderness, finding solace in this equally wild creature.
Okay, now that's hitting me in the feels. I love that. It's like,
Right.
yeah, we've got epic samurai battles and ghosts and whatever, but also a wolf friend.
Exactly. It just shows that Sucker Punch gets it. They know how to balance those big bombastic moments with these quieter, more character-driven ones.
And that's what made Ghost of Tsushima so special, right? It wasn't just about the action, it was about the journey.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, but enough about wolves and feelings for a second. Let's talk music. Because one of the articles I read mentioned a Western influence on the soundtrack. And frankly, I don't know how to feel about that.
Oh, yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, my initial reaction was skepticism. Like, I'm picturing samurai facing off to banjo music.
Right, like how do you blend those two without it feeling super jarring?
Exactly. But then I did a little digging, and it turns out there's actually a pretty cool historical connection here.
Ooh, tell me more.
So, you know Akira Kurosawa, right? Legendary Japanese director, made all those classic samurai films.
Of course, Seven Samurai, Yojimbo, the list goes on.
Right. Well, apparently his work was a huge influence on a lot of Western filmmakers, like Sergio Leone, who directed The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And when you watch their films back to back, you can totally see it.
Really? I never would have made that connection.
Me neither. But it's there. The way they use wide shots, the silence before a duel, even the way they frame their heroes. It's like a shared language.
Wow, that's fascinating. So you're saying the Western influence on the music might be more about capturing that same epic cinematic feel.
Exactly. Like, it's not going to be a straight-up spaghetti Western score, but it might have those same sweeping melodies, those moments of quiet tension building to a crescendo. And if any studio can pull it off, it's Sucker Punch.
Oh, absolutely. They nailed the atmosphere in Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, those sunsets, the wind blowing through the grass, the haunting melodies, pure magic.
Right. So I'm choosing to trust them on this one. It's like they've earned the benefit of the doubt.
For sure. And speaking of trusting Sucker Punch, we haven't even talked about the PS5 exclusivity yet.
Oh, right, because this isn't just a cross-gen release. Ghost of Yōtei is PS5 or bust.
Which, for those playing at home, means they're pulling out all the stops.
No more holding back. Give me all the ray tracing, all the haptic feedback, the works.
Right. I mean, imagine Ghost of Tsushima, but with even more detail, even more immersion. Light filtering through the trees, snow crunching underfoot.
And remember how Ghost of Tsushima had those crazy fast load times?
Even on the PS4, yeah.
Well, with the PS5's SSD, we're talking near instantaneous travel. Want to go from one end of EZO to the other? Boom, you're there.
No more waiting around for the world to load. It's going to be seamless.
And don't even get me started on the DualSense controller.
Oh, yeah.
Haptic feedback,
Mm.
adaptive triggers.
It's next level immersion.
I mean, can you
Yeah.
imagine feeling the tension of a bowstring?
You're really there.
Or the weight of a katana as you swing?
Exactly.
It's those little details that make all the difference.
They really do.
And that's what has me so excited about Ghost of Yōtei. It feels like Sucker Punch is pushing the boundaries of what a game can be.
I completely agree.
They're not just resting on their laurels after Ghost of Tsushima.
No way!
They're taking everything that worked.
Mm.
The world building, the combat, the story.
And cranking it up to 11.
Exactly. It's like they looked at the gaming world and said, hold my sake, watch this.
I love it.
But for all the hype about the tech,
Yeah.
the graphics, the gameplay,
Right.
we haven't really talked about the heart of the game.
The story.
The story. What's Atsu's journey really about? What are the stakes?
That's the million Rio question, isn't it?
It is. And I have a feeling Sucker Punch is keeping it close to the vest for a reason.
Oh, for sure.
They want us to experience it for ourselves.
To go on that journey with Atsu.
To feel those emotional gut punches.
The triumphs, the heartbreaks.
But that's what stays with you, right?
Absolutely.
Long after you put the controller down.
It's those emotional connections that make a game truly memorable.
And based on what we've seen so far, Ghost of Yōtei has the potential to be something truly special.
No doubt about it.
It's a game that's both familiar and completely new.
A perfect blend of tradition and innovation.
And I, for one, cannot wait to see what adventures await us in EZO.
Me either.
So there you have it, folks. The hype is real, the potential is there, and I have a feeling Ghost of Yōtei is going to be a game we're talking about for years to come.
I'm with you on that.
Until next time, keep those katanas sharp and those expectations high.
Turn the dial to the daily news. Turn the dial to the daily news. Turn the dial to the daily news. ringing voices, headlights, shoes. We turn the dial to the daily news.